Now, despite numerous medical experts advising state governments and governors to continue their stay at home orders, we have numerous governors that have decided to open back up. Now, one of them, of course, is Georgia. We've got Florida. We got South Carolina. We have many other places that are considering opening up despite rising cases of coronavirus. Now, a lot of these governors have been citing their own models, which they claim are more accurate than the models used by the CDC that, to make their recommendations. So now they say, no, 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 those models are wrong, the CDC. Our state models are right. It's safe. Go back to business. This whole coronavirus thing, no, it's over. It's overblown. This is like the flu, not serious. It's Democrat scaremongering in order to take down Donald Trump and the economy so that he loses re-election. That's it. Everybody get your butts back out there. And look, if you look at the data coming out of Georgia over the past month, for example, which did have the earliest and most aggressive efforts to reopen their economy, thanks to Brian Kemp. Well, if you look at the data they're putting out, then you might be convinced there's little danger. And yeah, hey, look, Brian Kemp says it's safe. And this information that Kemp is releasing, it says we're safe. So great. Get it back out there. Now, the problem, of course, that's not true. None of it's true. Now, according to the state models, which Brian Kemp used to justify Georgia's aggressive reopening, they say that they've flattened the curve, but they actually haven't. Now, the thing about that is, here you've got Kemp putting out these flawed models. I'll explain how later on, but the result of that is you got Kemp saying it's safe. You got conservative pundits saying safe. For example, the Wall Street Journal recently hailed what they call the Georgia model, right? Which is, of course, not social distancing, not doing these stay-at-home orders. And they say, oh, you know what? Georgia is doing great. That means aggressive lockdowns are not good. They don't help. And they actually hurt the economy because look what Georgia's doing, right? And it's almost like they're modeling after Sweden, which didn't do any of that stuff either. They didn't have a lockdown at all. And they saw their cases of coronavirus and their death counts explode. So that's not a winning model, and neither is Georgia. But instead of actually, saying that yes, what we're doing is going to kill more people and going to infect more people, instead Georgia has fudged the numbers. In fact, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, says that when scientists looked at this, they think, wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense. What is Georgia doing that is, making sure that their numbers are flat, even though they're actually not doing anything to fight coronavirus? Well, it's because what they actually did is that they misinterpreted the data. Now, David Farenthold points out, state of Georgia made it look like its COVID cases were going down by putting the dates out of order on its chart. May 5th, followed by April 25th, then back to May again, in a way that made it look like a down slope. Oh. So now, in case you're thinking, this is liberal propaganda, what are you talking about? No, Kemp's office has had to apologize for putting out misleading charts showing a downward trend in coronavirus cases since they opened up. It didn't happen just once, not twice, but 3 times. Kemp's offices are like, oh, we put out bad, misleading data. Our bad. But it shows the downtrend. So now the thing about this is, as I mentioned before, right-wing media picks this up. They pick up the charts, they pick up the numbers, and they see the downtrend, and that's all they show, right? And they say, oh my God, look at Georgia miracle. They're crushing it. They don't need a lockdown. So all you states that are locked down right now, you guys don't need lockdowns either. And so let's open up the economy. The doctors were wrong again. Liberal propaganda. Let's get everybody back to work and, more importantly, off unemployment benefits. Now, the apology then comes out later, right? because, oh, if you don't apologize for this quote unquote misleading graphic, oops, we made a mistake. We've accidentally released the numbers out of date. Oops. Well, guess what? Right-wing media doesn't pick that up. Nobody on the right talks about it. And therefore, people are left with the impression that whatever Georgia is doing, i.e., nothing to fight coronavirus, that somehow they're doing better than California or New York, right? Or Michigan, right? So that's the scam. That's the scam. Now, Jasmine Clark, this is State Representative Jasmine Clark, who's, by the way, has a degree in microbiology and molecular genetics. She's a PhD. She told the Journal Constitution, quote, "I have a hard time understanding how this happens without it being deliberate. Literally nowhere ever in any type of statistics would that be acceptable. And yet here we are, it is accepted because people are tired of being locked down. I understand that. People are hurting financially, and I understand that. That's why I believe in a $2,000 a month UBI stimulus. And there are plenty of different plans for that, as well as rent and mortgage freezes. Oh, I know. How are we going to pay for it, guys? How are we going to pay for it? Yeah, I know. How do we pay for the trillions of dollars we just handed Wall Street and the corporations? I mean, are you effing kidding me? Right? How are we going to pay for the military? Anyway, with that discussion aside, right, we should do that to alleviate the suffering, the economic suffering of people during a time where we should be at home. We should be quarantined. We should not be spreading this virus around, right? But yet, here we are with Republicans that are more interested in, helping their friends, their corporate friends, which is why they orchestrated the largest transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class through, taxes to the, richest corporations in these gigantic bailouts for these companies. So they did that. They helped their donors. And then when it comes to helping regular people, suddenly they've got no money for it. We got no money. What are we going to do? So here we are. Now, Georgia's not the only state that's messing around, right? And look, you F around, you're going to find out, right? Especially when there is a second wave or when there are thousands more people that are dying of coronavirus. And we've already started to see that in a lot of states. But see, Florida, they have a solution for that. Here's what they're doing. They're actually trying to stop county coroners from releasing death tallies from COVID-19. You die of COVID-19 in Florida, they'll hide your number. They'll hide you, right? You don't exist. You didn't die from COVID-19. You're off the books. You're scrubbed. Now, you don't do stuff like that unless you have something to hide. And they do. This is why the state of Florida also fired a woman named Rebecca Jones. Now, Rebecca Jones led a team of Florida Department of Health and data scientists and public health officers to set up a website which would allow researchers, reporters, and the public to access and review COVID-19 cases, testing, and death data. So now this was hailed as like great, wonderful transparency. I can't believe Florida would actually do something like that, which is why, of course, people in Florida, Republicans had to shut it down. And they fired her. In fact, she announced her firing on May 5th to WPEC TV. She said that she was removed because she was ordered to censor data, but had refused to manually change data to drum up support for the Republican plan to reopen. Here she was, a victim of political correctness. Look, that's what it is. This is political correctness. Data that comes out that goes against the political narrative from the Republican Party that it's safe to go out, right? So they're like, no, the data is correct, but we don't want you spreading that around because that hurts our political narrative. So we're politically correct. We're going to be politically correct by firing you and hiding the data, and we're going to hide the death data as well. And of course, in Georgia, they're being politically correct by fudging the numbers. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. So, of course, with this political correctness, Republicans then decided to open up early. Georgia opened up early, South Carolina, and other states. And now, unsurprisingly, we are seeing more deaths and infections related to COVID-19. And their response, of course, was to hide it. And that's what that is. They're cooking the books to make sure that you don't know the truth, because they want you to go out and risk your life, not their lives, but your life. The lives of you and your family members are of no consequence when it comes to their donors and their power and their money. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.